Last episode, we finally found our form in front of goal, but with promotion moving out of reach, will we be able to turn things around before it's too late? Hey, what's going on, guys? Respect the Jeff here, and buckle up. I think this is the craziest episode I've probably ever put on this channel. It's going to take some wild turns, so I hope y'all are ready for this. We're sitting in 10th place going into this one. It was much, much better. Towards the end of last episode, we obviously turned things around after the whole shot error to 100 fiasco that happened 2 episodes ago, but things look to be on the mend just a little bit here. Although some of the players are not happy, there's a lot of speculation, particularly over Andric, who has come under a lot of fire recently. There's been rumors he's looking for a way out, but it just keeps taking twists and turns. So we go ahead and we put him on the transfer list after hearing that he doesn't want to renew his contract. Again, after previously asking to have his contract renewed, and then he comes back to us and says he can't believe what's going on and he wants to stay and sign a new contract. With a player of this caliber, who are we to say no? 75 overall. I mean, we're desperate to keep someone like him in the team, especially when we're looking to be pushing for promotion and struggling to do so. So a couple offers came in. We're not going to take them, though. We're going to let these offers get passed up for the time being, and hopefully he changes his mind for good and wants to stay and is part of this project. But we'll see how things evolve. Well, we got bigger things going on here. The board is giving us sort of a warning message here in terms of our progress in reaching the goals that were set out at the beginning of this season, so we got to be careful about fulfilling those for sure. But with that said, we got to get back to the games here. It's the fight for 10th place. If we win this, we could sneak into the top half, so it'll be a big game for sure as we near promotion. And let's get to it. Alright, well, this is our chance. A win here would get us just a little bit closer. I mean, to be perfectly honest, if we want a shot at promotion this season, it needs to start literally right now. There is not a lot of time left. I mean, we basically front-loaded all of our mistakes early on in the season, and we got to make sure we go on a huge winning streak here to make up the ground between us and some of the teams ahead of us. A very early scare in this game here, and to be honest, things don't look to be too much better than they've been for the time being. We're going to struggle big time with morale the way things have been going. We just keep conceding. With another chance finding its way in here, we could be in trouble. Absolutely unreal. Conceding again. We are just struggling in a way that I've never experienced on this channel before. We've always more or less had success with the goals that we have laid out for us, and this is proving to be an exception here. We eventually get an equalizer only to be heartbroken by the fact that it's an offsides goal, and it just seems like everything that can go wrong is going wrong. But that doesn't stop the team from trying here, putting balls into the box, being brave with our play. It's certainly not for a lack of effort on the players' half at all. We've been throwing everything we have at these games, and I know that those first 8 games of the season were a little bit of an excuse because we had the whole shot error thing going on, but I mean, since then it hasn't been dramatically better. The results we've been having from the last episode up until now haven't been enough to really tip the tides in terms of me feeling comfortable saying we would have been winning promotion anyways. And it just seems to be a real confidence problem with this team, like I've been saying. Maybe the new signings aren't fitting in quite as well as we'd hope, but I'm definitely speaking a little too soon here as Eric Tommy finds himself in the box and finishes again. This guy has been unreal. An exception to the rule here. A lot of our signings maybe haven't hit the ground running, but he definitely has been scoring plenty of goals and looks a very dangerous player. We just keep throwing numbers at it here, really desperate to make something of this game. Coming into the second half, we concede a couple good chances, but fortunately the goalkeeper Himmelman is there to make another save. We got to give this everything we got. 3 subs coming on: Rotundo, Brook, and Sandoval, all big attacking threats, but 86 minutes in, we find ourselves under a little bit of pressure here as a ball finds its way into the box and a volley makes its way past the goalkeeper. 2-1, heartbreak for Schalke once again. It's been a brutal stretch, and I just cannot catch a break with these games. I just am speechless at this point. It's happened so many times this season, and honestly, we went from finishing 7th place last season to this, and I just can't explain it. The team is better on paper. We have all of these new players. I feel like we have a philosophy we're playing with in terms of possession. We're creating the chances. I think it's a mentality thing. We're conceding goals we shouldn't late in games. We're not scoring goals that we should. and it's just simply not good enough. We're under huge threat here at this point of the season. Things are not looking good, and we need results right now if we want any shot at making this season a good one. Alright, well, things are really getting slippery here. Performance review with the board. They have not been happy with these results. Neither have we, or the team for that matter, though. The fans watching, it's been a frustrating stretch, but like I always say on this channel, I'm not going to cheat results. I'm not just going to make things better because I wish they were. This is what you see is what you get, and right now we are struggling. Hopefully it turns around because we do have a great team, and the captain, Fatih Chandan from last season, who's barely gotten minutes this time around, is asking us to start. Why not? He's going to start up top. Anything that's going to work for the time being will be welcome at this stage. And if you guys have been enjoying this series despite our hardships as of late, please consider subscribing. Helps me out a ton. And with that said, let's get back to it. Alright, well, another chance to impress in a crucial game in our season here. I know I said this last time up, but we need a win here. If we want any shot, I mean, to be honest, after that last loss, it's really starting to slip out of reach in terms of our hopes for promotion here. But there is still ground to make up. Mathematically, we're still in it, although it's starting to be unlikely. We do get off to a thumping start, and it's that man again, Eric Tommy, unreal. Despite a really dark period of form for this team, he's been one who's really stood out and continues to be a threat here, finding a lot of success on the right-hand side, and he almost goes for the double. This time it's high and wide, but certainly making an impression here. And Fatih Chandan doing a little bit of facilitating out of that striker role. Marco Fabian puts one at the back post, and Chandan goes for it, only to be outdone by a header from the defender here, creating so many chances once again. It's been a very familiar story this season, though. Definitely, if we continue to fail to capitalize on chances like that, Chandan header straight at the goalkeeper. We take it to halftime, but only with a 1-goal lead. At this point in the season, I am never confident in us keeping a hold of a clean sheet, let alone just a slim lead like this one, so it's going to take everything we got. Dan Rosen goal for this one honestly looks really sharp, the young goalkeeper, with Himmelman dropping off just a little bit in the last couple games. Obviously could have done better on that goal we conceded last game. It's time to give youth a chance and shake things up a little bit. Whatever's going to work for this team. And again, Dan Rose, absolutely outstanding to get a hand on that one. Throwing subs at this one again. We got to push forward and really try to grab a second one. Evan Rotundo coming on. New face for him. I know maybe not perfect, but at least it's a little bit better than the default one. And he's trying to make a creative impact up top. Another header flying in. This time it's Coman again, saved by the goalkeeper. And I just feel like I say this time and time again, but despite all of the possession and all of the domination we've had in terms of chances, it's still a very slim 1-goal lead. And now with 10 minutes remaining, we just got to make sure that it stays that way. But across into the near post, it's just too easy. We concede and level things up again with only 10 minutes left. Yeah, it's just the same story over and over and over. Schalke cannot seem to just see games out. And now with only a few minutes remaining, it's all going to come down to this one last chance for Mina, and it's ahead of him, punched away by the goalkeeper, and that's basically a wrap for the game. A couple passes in behind are just not enough to get the job done. And we're seen out. It's a draw. It's 2 points dropped. And it's just another heartbreaking game for us. I just don't know what to do or try at this point of the season. We've rotated, we've tried formation changes, we've given everything that we have available to us, and it just hasn't been enough. I don't know what the future holds for this team, but it's not looking good at this point, and we move on. All right, well, we got to face the press in this one, and things are not looking good at this point. The team is unhappy. We're struggling to keep morale up. We're struggling to just get results at all. And with the team that we have, and a player like Coman who's grown to 80 overall, we should be running the league at this point, and we're down really solidly mid-table. So we got some tough questions to answer in terms of facing the press here and really making some sort of excuse for why the team is performing the way it is. We hit transfer deadline day, and especially considering our financial situation right now, $25 million in debt. For those of you who don't remember, we definitely cannot afford any transfers in. Same time, I don't want to sell any players either with us chasing results like this. We need all the talent we can keep a hold of for the remainder of this season. Fabian is among those to be listed for a potential move away, but with 4 hours left, we're definitely not going to risk it. We got to keep a hold of everyone, and we do manage to see ourselves through the window without selling any key players. So the promotion push remains alive, but we're down in 13th place. It's starting to slip further and further, so we return our attention to the league. Let's get to it. All right, here we go, back into action again, and I mean, if I'm being realistic about this, I just don't know how much longer we can say we're still in the race for promotion here. I mean, it's still mathematically possible, and we're still going to give everything we got for the rest of the season, but at some point we have to start shifting focus a little bit on what is a realistic goal to achieve this season. With promotion really being far and away our top priority, I just don't know what else to focus on at all. We have a couple things going on here. Dan Rose obviously starting in goal. We're trying to build the team for the future a little bit. With Himmelman really not being his usual self in between the sticks, it's time to give priority to younger players who are really starting to make an impact and show what they've got. A lot of really key players for us kind of starting to step up here. Eric Tommy among them, obviously scoring plenty of goals in the last few games here, and he always looks a threat, and boy do we need that with goals really being the issue here. Florinel Coman, who's been spectacular up until now, has not hit the ground running this episode. We do have yet to see the best from him here. And again, we kind of find ourselves on the back foot here. A lot of chances coming in from the opposition and some really poor play out of the back. Unreal. I don't know if it's me or the players in game not playing well. Lack of composure there, maybe just thinking a little bit too much, playing out from the back, but that was a real poor one to concede. And honestly, a very frustrating series of games for me to play. As things continue to not go our way, I'm just starting to feel desperate here. More chances coming our way, but not enough clear-cut ones to really make a difference here. You can see the frustration building. So many challenges coming in, so many yellow cards. The players are starting to feel it, and really, you can feel the morale just slipping away from this team. A lot of clever passing in behind, and nothing just able to make the difference here. Coman, the latest to go, though, and this time he converts. Pulls one back off the crossbar, off the line, but it counts just the same. That's the lack of quality that we've been missing from him. Absolutely unreal stuff. No goalkeeper in the world is going to save that. And with 10 minutes left, can we go on to make something of this game? We're throwing everything we have at it, and it just hasn't quite been enough. But the high press continues to try to catch the opposition out. Unfortunately, it's just more yellow cards for us. We see it through for another draw, and again, despite the little rally there at the end, it wasn't enough to make a difference, and ultimately that's 2 more points dropped for the team. Still not good enough, and we're in crisis mode now. Well, I hate to say it, guys, but we're still down in 12th. We haven't even started to make a dent on the ground we needed to make up this episode. 39 points is where 3rd place sits right now, and I mean, it's just not looking good at all, is it? We're going to get back to action here and try to make some sort of turnaround, but it's asking a lot from this team, so fingers crossed. All right, an away day for the boys here who are desperate to make some sort of impact on the game. I continue tinkering with the squad here, little bits and pieces here and there. Obviously, an overhaul is probably going to be detrimental to the team now. We just need some sort of consistency, but anyone who's showing glimpses of being promising at this point is going to get a run in the team. Unfortunately for us, our defense is not among them. Conceding again, you can just feel the confidence draining out of these players. The backline has been absolutely shambolic and just making so many mistakes here. Another ball given away here. The slide tackle missed, and finally gives away a penalty there. Really poor from Abner Aliou. After Theo Jaggi had a bunch of really poor performances, the young center back was given the shot here and ultimately has made a mistake that could cost us. If we concede here, the game might already be slipping out of our reach, and we do. 2-0 down already. Oh my gosh, this has been absolutely horrific from the boys as we look to just show any kind of promise going forwards. Ball out wide there is a good one, but Eric Tommy blasts it far, far over there. Egal Brook, who's often stepped up for this team when we needed it, looking to make some sort of impact up top, but he can't do it with that kind of service here. Moving the ball around, Evan Rotundo, clever little ball for Chateau, give and go. Rotundo still just nothing in the box and eventually given away there. Absolutely no consistency going forwards, and I mean, at least earlier in the episode I could say we were creating chances. That's a lot more than I can say at this point in time here. The team looks in shambles and really just a shadow of our former selves here as we desperately lob balls into the box that just aren't making any kind of connection. The fluidity in the offense is not there. The rock-hard defense that we had for so many seasons is not there either, and we just concede so many good chances here. It easily could have been a third if not for a poor effort there, and a decent save by the young goalkeeper, who really has stepped up, Dan Rose, but it's not enough in games like this to make any kind of difference. And with 92 minutes gone here, eventually the whistle blows and we are seen out. It's a defeat. We haven't won a single game this episode. It's crushing. I mean, I'm just out of options. The team's not performing well at all. The players are down on it. Morale's at an all-time low. And at this point in the season, there is no turning around the kind of form that we've had. We try to keep our heads up, but it's a lot. Well, we got some tough questions to answer again here after that defeat. I'm going to be honest with the press. I mean, the opposition were better than us. And I think there's just a growing sense that nothing we could do as manager this season is enough to turn this team around in its current state. And absolutely heartbreaking. Our contract has been terminated. It's a first not only for the channel, but for myself. I don't think I've ever been let go in a FIFA career mode series in my entire life. It's a tough one to swallow because I really did try my best for the entirety of this and it wasn't enough. I think once the ball got rolling in the wrong direction, it's a real shame that we couldn't turn things around, but it is what it is. The story's going to carry on here, and let's see where this takes us. Huge news out of the Schalke camp. There's a new manager in town. Interim manager Hans Fischer has stepped out of the backroom staff and will be managing this team for the remainder of the season. I mean, I feel like there's so many talking points here, but the primary one is going to be, is this enough to turn it around? What kind of vision does Schalke have from the future? We just got things sorted out with the new director of football coming in, trying to turn around our financial debt, and honestly, Hans Fischer is walking to a team with incredibly low morale, little to no chemistry with the new signings not fitting in, and a huge financial debt that means he's not going to be able to bring in any significant new signings. So there's a lot on the line here. He faces the press, but is it going to be enough? And here we have it, guys. He takes charge immediately. The team gets back to action, and we have a whole rest of the season to play out here and really keep an eye on what goes on. And honestly, it's not good. It's more of what we would expect from this team, conceding goals, a weak back line, and honestly, I think with the manager gone, there were still some players that were supporting us. Obviously, we had players like Andrick, Hawkins, even players that we've had kind of troubles with like Fabian in the past, who really were fighting for us and trying to make a difference, and honestly, things just seemed worse with us out of the picture. I think there was a growing negative mentality really around the club, and the morale just hit an all-time low, even lower than we expected after the new manager took charge and couldn't turn things around. Despite trying to throw everything he had at it as well, the key players became unsettled, and you can just see nothing was clicking. Eventually, it got to the point where dressing room unrest hit another critical peak. So many players unhappy, so many key and experienced players too that really shook this squad up. And Fischer really went from trying the experienced folks to putting in some of the youth players, switching systems. I mean, basically all of the things we did, and it just wasn't enough. Specifically with the star player Florinel Coman not firing up top and unable to find goals, the team really dried up, started conceding even more, let alone not scoring goals. And eventually, that leads us to the final day of the season here. Schalke wearing that black kit that seems to be a little bit of an unlucky one for us. Obviously, it was the kit that we got let go in after that final game with us in charge. And with Schalke looking to make something out of the end of the season here, at least just to keep spirits high, it's just desperation, long ball stuff, balls over the top, really no cohesive kind of play style at the very least, despite kind of fighting to try to make something of it. It just really looked shambolic, especially in that back line again. Definitely fortunate to not concede here. The one bright spot we've had is some of the experienced folks coming through. Himmelman kind of finished off the season on a strong note. Obviously the ball there to Chandan up top, who had a little bit of a resurgence, but it's not going to be enough to make any kind of difference here in the team. Going into halftime here, things look to be fairly level, but all it takes is one little pass in behind, and there you have it. Down again at halftime. Schalke not really going to finish the season out on a high note like this. It's going to take something special here in the second half to make up this deficit that we have going on. And Eric Tommy with a rocket from distance. Well, one of the very few bright spots we can take away from this season has been the free agent signing Eric Tommy, who's come in and he's made a difference and is really just a notch above everyone else out there on the pitch. Unfortunately, just minutes later, 92 minutes in the game, how emblematic is that of our season so far? Schalke conceding late to lose the final game of the season, and really, that's a fitting way to finish off a season that has been a terrible one for the team. The interim manager has some talking to do here, and it's some explaining to do at the end of the season after coming in and doing even worse, really, than we were doing in charge with the squad available to him. Things are just not looking good at the club overall. There's a lot of questions going into the next season. Is Fischer going to stay? Will a new manager come in? What is the future of this club? Well, only time will tell, but we have a lot to think about for the time being. 12th place the team finishes. Absolutely pitiful. Not only were we not able to climb a little closer to those promotion spots, we finished in really a worse position than we even left the team in when we were sacked. It's absolutely dreadful from a team that finished 7th and really almost made a significant promotion push at the end of last season with, on paper at least, a much worse squad. There's some huge problems going on at Schalke again, and honestly, if things don't go a lot smoother in the coming months, we could be looking at another collapse, especially with the huge financial problems that are once again going on at the club. A player who really hit the ground running here, Florinel Coman, finishes our highest score, 14 goals. It's nothing to be ashamed of, but a player of his caliber, that is simply not good enough. Next best in line was Eric Tommy in terms of goal scoring. With 7, not too bad at all, especially for a winger considering the kind of form the team has had. Igal Brook made a decent run this season. Hopefully he can continue to grow and maybe lead the line. Marco Fabian, notable shout. Amidst all of our problems, he contributed with a lot of assists and was a standout player, but really outside of these handful of players, it was pretty pitiful from the rest of the team. A lot of players coming back from loan here at the end of the season. There's a lot for this team to look forward to, and it's a shame for us that we won't be able to manage all of this young talent that we had going on for so many seasons here. Notable players coming back. Merjan grew up to 70 overall. I think that's a +4 or +5. I don't remember exactly what he left on, but he really looks to have turned things around and revitalized his career. I love to see that. Sidi Sane coming back, 69 overall. Not a lot of huge growth from the rest of these players, but Corey Tauski's another notable one. Very young striker, only 19. He could be another Igal Brook coming through the ranks. If Schalke plays their cards right, there's a lot of talent to build on for the future here, but there has to be some very smart decisions made about the immediate term future of this club if they want any shot at righting the ship here. So, with that said, it's the end of Season 3 here. We are no longer in charge, and that breaks my heart. Hopefully the club will move on to go on and do good things once again, but it just breaks my heart after being invested for so many seasons in the club to see things end like this. There's even more dressing room unrest, and eventually star players start to leave. Florinel Coman takes off for Borussia Dortmund. It's heartbreaking to sell to direct rivals like that, but we need the money, and they liked what they saw after he impressed huge in the cup earlier in the season against them. But Coman's not the only one to leave. There's an exodus here as Mina goes back to Hannover 96, who just got promoted. Andrik makes a move to the Bundesliga where he feels like his talent could be better utilized. And Theo Jaggi gets a dream move to Napoli, who see the potential in the youngster who's fed up with the mistakes going on in our back line. We also miss out on Timo Becker, which is another heartbreaking one, as one of the Schalke Academy players to come through, who leaves for Salzburg to move over to Austria. We also have some big experienced players in the team retire at the end of this season. Huger, Chandan, Farfan all hang up their boots, and they're going to be sorely missed. If you guys want to check out the team that remains and how we finished out this season, go check out respectthejeff.com. Click on the Schalke tab, and you can see all of the detailed stats and how we rounded out this season. In the meantime, we got a lot of stuff coming up here. Hans Fischer remains in charge and tries to bring in some talent for the upcoming season, but it's going to be tough. Finances are tight. Even after selling all of those players, Schalke barely have any kind of budget to spend here. It's full-blown crisis mode for the club in terms of their future, what's going to happen here, and honestly, what's going to happen for this career mode series now that I am no longer in charge. And if you guys have any ideas on what you'd like to see or ideas on how to manage the team, feel free to join my Discord. It's free. We can talk all kinds of things. I like to show behind the scenes clips and images like the kits that I'm working on. Link in the description. Definitely join if you are so inclined. Also, please consider subscribing to the channel. It helps me out a ton to make this kind of content and keep doing it. I always appreciate the support. So we'll see where this career takes us. Drop a comment below. Let me know what you think we should do going forwards, how the storyline should evolve. A lot of moving pieces this episode, and like I said, it's probably the craziest one I've ever had on this channel. So I'll be back soon with next season or next career, wherever this takes us. But until then, I'm Respected Jeff, and I'll see you next time.